Yeah, and when you look at these openers already, they're banning out, what did they ban out? PL, Weaver, these heroes that are pretty good against Undying. They deal with the tomb easy, and also they just juke around him. They rotate around him very easily. But Evil Corporation, they already have something that's good versus Undying. That's this Lina. What do you need versus Undying on the lane? You need range and attack speed, right? The same goes for the Lina later on versus Tombstone. She's really good. So there are some answers coming from EC already. Plus they have Magnus that should do quite decently well versus Ember, if Ember is mid lane.
Yeah, so they banned out Anti-Mage and Weaver, two heroes that are very hard to control, especially with their heroes. And there's the low cooldown stun. I think this hero is going to be much, much popular. He received the buff. Still, his ulti feels one of the worst in the game, and you never want to initiate with like Epicenter into the Burrow Strike with the blink. You want to use the blink, stun people, have that insta initiation, and then second time initiate with the Epicenter. And he's also a hero that a lot changed for Sanking after the fact that you can't use Quelling Blade anymore on the
wards.
Yeah, so I think that's a huge nerf in the laning stage for him.
And one of the reasons why they ban out the Anti-Mage probably is the Sand King, because it's one of your lane counters. It just destroys you in the lane, and it's hard to play after that. So
yeah, you can't do too much without mana. His passive got buffed, which is nice, but then again, if they have a sentry ward, you can't hide underneath the Sandstorm. And so Anti-Mage's ability, Know You, will get you. I mean, you use anything at him, if he just has quick fingers, you're gonna get stunned.
So EC, the next ban that they do is the Rubik and the Darkseer. So your Rubik here would be pretty good for MOTACI. We were talking about that greedy position 4 that would kind of complement this Undying position 5 well. Rubik is definitely one of those, and it's an old school lane with the Sand King as well. It's a lane that has 2 stuns and also a lot of burst damage, so it would be quite all right for them. EC, all right, they're going for the Wombo combo, right? Not necessarily Wombo combo, but you have Phoenix that's going to be protected by LSA from Lina and also the RP from the Magnus. So this egg already feels decent, it's protected. It's also a hero that doesn't care way too much about Undying. In the lane versus Sand King, you don't feel threatened. So far for EC, it looks like a good combo of heroes, but I have to say they have very long cooldowns on their ultimates.
Yeah. Phoenix, this is the hero that got buffed in terms of his ulti, 1 extra hit, which is quite a lot. Sometimes it's all it takes, that 1 extra hit, to make the whole difference. You respawn with full HP, and they don't have the heroes that deal well with the egg. They also have great ways of dealing with how to protect the egg with either LSA or, you know, you're grouping around the egg. There's going to be a big RP coming out.
Skewer, even sometimes you don't even have to RP as long as you keep them controlled. All right, so they go for the Drow, and I'm not sold on the hero. We have seen it lose yesterday. We have seen it a lot. Yeah, it's strong, but in a game such as this one, okay, you have this very high attack speed ranged hero that will be able to deal with the egg. The lane might be problematic depending on how EC tends to roll this, because there's a Lina +1. If you pick something ranged that can deal with the Undying, you can just go through him and go on the Drow as well. She suffers a lot versus these controlling heroes plus the egg that's going to be on top of her. And like you said, egg early on, 6 attacks now, right? But later on is a little bit easier to kill. Doesn't really matter too much when you have a lot of control. And when you think about PL, AM being banned out, and Spectre, the next choice that you can go for, the next hero that's really left remaining is Slark, right? Versus the Drow. What else is there? Some teams are picking Morphling, there's Slark. As long as you can get on top of her, destroy her.
Yeah, they needed something that can close the gap, something that benefits from Empower, and so that's a melee hero. I was thinking about the Phantom Assassin. Doesn't rely on any cooldowns, can flash farm with it, or Juggernaut. Juggernaut also feels great. They did not have a single ability that goes through magic immunity, so he could always be able to TP out. Just spin TP out, there's no control for him, which allow him to get so much more farm out of the map.
And you have Magnus, right?
Yeah.
Like Slark obviously benefits from Magnus a lot as well when it comes to Empower. but Jug is one of your ultimate heroes that you want with Magnus because of the Empower. It increases your damage capabilities, obviously, but also your farming speed.
So it sounds like it's looking pretty damn good for EC at the moment when it comes to it. Is it going to come more down to what MOTACI might try to execute out here?
Yeah. I like Sanking as a response to Slark. Like any kind of AoE damage magical, this is where Slark struggles. Like great example is Lashrak, where he can't deal with Edict and Pulse Nova. And the same thing can apply here with either Sandstorm, Burrow Strike, and Epicenter.
Wow, EC actually, they ban out the Oracle. So they ban out the hero, but this is so weird. They ban out the Oracle and the Huskar in the last two bans. Oracle, even though there's an Undying in the pool, I expected some different position 4 coming from MOTACI. Like, I have seen them run Oracle and Undying, and I think that's the reason why they banned it out. They just did their research, they went open Dota buff, saw what they draft. There was Undying.
Great research.
Undying with Drow and Oracle. Even though they lost, let's ban it out anyway. Let's make them pick something else that they might win with. I just don't like Oracle and Undying as duo of supports, man. I'm never gonna like it unless something drastically changes about these heroes. I even remember Secret ones, they picked Undying as a response to one hero, and then they picked Oracle as well as a response to Bat or something, and then you saw Yapzor just running around with this Oracle doing absolutely nothing after 15 minutes. So if a team such as that one has problems running such two supports, like, maybe it's best to stay away from that.
I was going to say it to you, because many a times we have this conversation about, oh yeah, this is a possibility, but only these top tier teams can do it. But if you say if they can't, then maybe that's why.
Yeah, and look at this. Undying, first pick. And then you need to ban heroes that are, you know, very hard to catch. They banned out Fever, Anti-Mage, and Puck. Like, is this the strength? I mean, I could make a talk show about the downsides of Undying. And each episode would last for at least 45 minutes every single day for a year. Definitely. I could just talk about it. But hope new Undying proves me wrong.
But there's always like 1 or 2 players in pubs that just play Undying. They don't play anything else. They just play. You must have met them. It's like you see him, you see his nickname, you know he's gonna pick Undying, and somehow they believe, and they manage to win with it. Like they manage to make it work. You know, like there are some players that can really maximize the potential of Undying in the lane and just crush you so hard that.
I think that's the perfect hero for players like always want to fly. Like, you know, he's going to be dying quite a lot. He doesn't care if he's under-leveled. If somehow he manages to get a kill, get the boots, he's good. Like, he can play the game for 30-plus minutes, doesn't care too much about what he gets. No.
All right, we have a Veno. It's interesting, though. It's picked into a Slark, but let's see. Is this going to be their support? They did pick Veno before. Now my concern is, will this be a core? Will this be playing versus the Slark on the lane? Or will they rotate? You know what they could do actually here? You could put Veno and Drow versus Bat +1 lane, versus Bat and Lina. Maybe that could work. It would be something similar to Venge Drow, right? In which Batrider doesn't really do way too well because he can't get on top of them. With the recent changes to Sticky Napalm, maybe that could work, because I wouldn't put Veno plus Sand King versus Slark just because he has abilities that can deal with Gale very easily.
I think it's much better if they just put Undying plus Drow Ranger together. Even if it's against the Bat, you get the sticks. Batrider wants to dive underneath the tower, but with the decay, Batrider's not going to have much HP, and they can slow him down easily with the Frost Arrow, pushing back with the early 1 point in Gust. That should be enough.
So right now, which way are you thinking? Liz, I'm going to start with you, because you guys were very positive about MOTACI going into it, but this draft may have not worked out for him.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guys that aren't as known. I'm going to go with Lensmeister and their draft. MOTACI, the Czech boys, know them very well, like them as a team for like multiple years now. I appreciate the fact that they're sticking together, the countrymen, but I like the Slark with the Magnus. I think he's going to out-farm this, and eventually they don't really have ways of dealing with him.
Yeah, Slark at one point if this game drags post 30 minutes should be unkillable. He gets, even if he doesn't like snowball from the laning stage, there's still a recovery from Magnus Empower, and Slark just demolishes Drow Ranger in the late game.
Well, the draft has won you guys over, so it's time for us to get into our game. It's just the best of one here between EC and MOTACI, and we've got Cinderin and Sunsfan to bring us the action early in the morning for these guys. How the devil are you?
It's late at night for me, Banks, but I appreciate it.
And it's like noon for me, so he pretty much missed for both. That's pretty impressive, actually.
I woke up at 6 p.m. today. Dota is life, as they say. You know what I'd like to say before we get started here, since it is a pause? I knew Lacoste and I were true Artifact brothers, and I'm really glad to hear that he hates Undying as much as me. What a garbage hero, honestly. Doesn't even have an ultimate. Just delete his ultimate, Cinder. Come up with something new. They've only changed it 8 times in the last 10 years. Are we going to have to talk about
this again?
Well, it is pause, so
yeah,
you have to give me some credit there.
You're underrating Undying's ultimate really hard. You know that, right?
Is that why they've changed it literally 12 times in the last 15 years?
Well, the current
it's basically once a year. Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is ulti, run in, and hit someone one time. 40% slow, 25% damage amp.
Yeah.
Lasts for 6 seconds.
I used to be on the same boat as you, back in the day when I was a professional Counter-Strike player, but playing Dota on the side, of course, Cinderin. I used to say, oh, Undying sounds really good on paper. And then you play him, you're miserable. The enemy beats you after the 5-minute mark. And then you regret ever playing that hero, and you never pick it again.
I have a theory as to why you would feel that way. Okay, listen up.
Okay,
you are bad. There you go. That's why.
Cinderin, you're not supposed to blast me like that in public. Okay, it's only a private matter between you and me.
But it's your kink. We can do it in private. I can just send you abusive messages.
How many games of Undying have you played?
Quite
are
a
you
lot.
An Undying lover or something?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, honestly, I would agree with you. His ulti has been, through its various iterations, has been everything from really bad to good. And I would say the current version is definitely in the better half. But yeah, he has had so many different versions. I think the best ulti he ever had, except the one back from Dota 1, was the one where in an AoE around him, he slowed and amplified everybody the closer he was. That was the strongest version, in my opinion. But there's much good to be said about the new one as well. When you're a support and you pop your ult and you get 40% of your strength as a multiplier, that's, you get a lot tankier. The old version didn't have that. So
that's great.
The raw health bonus
maybe
really
one day the hero will be useful after 10 minutes. I'm looking forward to that day to come. Maybe for Dota 3. I think that's what we're all waiting for.
It'll come out
as we
right
have
after Artifact
MOTACI versus Evil Corp, who I'm sure you don't understand that reference at all. Just want to double check that real quick.
It's
before
probably
we get
something
started,
from a movie. Say I don't know that.
Close. A TV show named Mr. Robot. Highly recommended for anybody, including you, Cinderin. But of course, I know that you don't watch anything. So,
I actually don't do anything in general.
I noticed. I asked you to play games the other day, and you said no. I'm playing World of Warcraft, and I looked at the date and just made sure it was still 2020. Which indeed it is.
Oh, imagine flaming when you play Valorant all day. All right, let's get ready for some runes.
And exciting.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I can't believe it. Okay, 2 for 2 runes. So actually, to get into the game a little bit, so what I was thinking about with this game was it's a best of one, right? What teams usually do in best of ones is one of two things. Either they play super safe and stick to all of their guns and play very meta, or they go something crazy and cheesy. And to me, you've just given Evil Corp 2 of the really strong meta heroes. You've given them Magnus, which has been banned in pretty much every game we have cast at least. And you have given away Phoenix, which is also a super high rated hero. And what did you get in return? I'm wondering what MOTACI's logic was here. If there was some just flavor picks that EC loves so much that they were more worthy than those high meta bans. But you gotta say, looking at this dire lineup, it looks really powerful if they get to initiate, because like they pointed out on the panel, you can't really kill a supernova very easily. They have super good team fight, and they have an empowered Slark, who loves playing against Drow. So, yeah. From a draft perspective, I like EC, but I think MOTACI might be the better team, so it could be a close game because of that. We'll see how it goes.
Put it out of your mind.
Yeah, the laning stage goes to start this game. It is Magnus in the mid lane versus the Ember Spirit. Hero versus hero, not talking about individual player skill. How does this matchup shape up for you? Because we haven't seen, like you said, Magnus has been banned a whole lot. Of course, I want to say the last 6 months it's been a pretty freaking popular hero in general. The matchup mid, 1v1.
I think it's Magnus favored. He just has more damage, right? Ember will skill up Flame Guard to try to guarantee CS, but even Flame Guard you can put a dent into with both Shockwave and Skewer. It can give you potential kills with rotation. But yeah, you're seeing already the Magnus is just dumpstering him, right? 10-3 versus 4-2. Just that 100 damage against 66 will make things very easy for Elijah here in the beginning.
And Magnus, of course, a hero that can go into the jungle and farm away to his heart's content. How much of that factor does Ember Spirit have if he goes for the Flame Guard build? Is that even something you do? Is it just it doesn't sound nearly as efficient as a Magnus going into the jungle in between waves?
I think what Ember will do, he will push out the wave and then try to go for his camp to the side. So he will kind of mirror what Magnus wants to do with pushing out wave and then farming jungle. Magnus can just, he's faster at it. He's way less reliant on what camps he gets. You see Ember right now got unlucky and got a Mud Golem camp as the first one, which is terrible. Magnus kills all the camps easily. He can also go and make stacks with Shockwave from range easily to just set himself up for more farm later. Yeah, it's just better. Magnus is a beast hero right now. I think it's on my top 3 of best heroes in this patch probably if I had to choose. Just overall, just seems very useful. The game's just picked.
Let's talk about the other lanes before we get back to the mid. Got Slark and Phoenix in the top lane versus the Sand King and Venomancer. Sand King looks to be the position 4 this time around. Thoughts on this overall matchup? I mean, Sand King got that buff recently. Well, yeah, I guess not necessarily a buff, but
yeah, Caustic
depending
is
on your perspective,
different, basically.
Yeah. Not sure how I feel about it.
Considering he's playing the support, I don't really like it that much. I think support Sand King actually needs to max Sandstorm so that he can farm a dagger and push waves. I know Caustic can also push waves. Sandstorm just has some clear added benefits of survivability, making you harder to gank, being able to farm stacks in the jungle. This 1 point in Caustic, it's going to slow when they hit together, but like the chance that this Caustic is the big difference maker is
double LSA bot lane Cinderman, and that is 4 sticky napalms. He doesn't want to dive the tower too much, but the damage has been done. Although it's going to be returned onto the Lina, trying to get the kill into the Drow, but now the Lina has to run. Multi-shot clips her. So a lot of back and forth, but still no first blood yet. Let's talk about this lane. So the Drow and Undying versus Batrider Lina. Lots of harassment.
Lane to play Batrider in. It's such a good bat lane when you get levels. MOTACI is going to be in trouble down here basically over time when Batrider starts getting his, I think his boots are coming out. Yeah, he's getting boots in a Mango, and then when he gets to level 4, so he has 2 in Firefly, or even 1 in Flamebreak if he likes that. All they need to do is push into the tower and then glyph and have 2 sticky napalm stacks on both of these heroes, and then they can just dive them, either killing them or forcing a TP and just backing out. And forcing a TP in the laning stage like this is really impactful. It's like, imagine Sand King TP's bot, then Veno actually can't lane. So you probably can't even do that yet. TP rotate to help. So the dives would just result in kills. Looks like it might be exactly what they're setting up for right now. Onmi is trying to
top lane. We saw the Burrow Strike. Slark can get out with a sliver of HP. So finally seeing some action top, as for the most part that lane just felt like everyone's just doing their own thing, which is kind of odd to see.
And that's great for Evil Corp. I think Slark's biggest weakness is level 1 to 5 here. As soon as he gets 6, the Venom matchup isn't actually that bad. Like, you just, every time you get hit by some stuff, you dark pact it off and go to the fog and heal up full and come back. Venom's just like, okay. Oh, Curry bot? Oh, they weren't going to commit for that.
Yeah, they just lost the 5 stacks of sticky napalm and ended up missing that last attempt. So, still no kill. 5.5 minutes in, we've seen the bounty runes taken. No first blood. This is very unusual, especially with an Undying in the game, because Lacoste was talking about it. The 5-minute mark, is his time up? Is this hero done for the game? Obviously, I exaggerate.
Tombstone
but,
is
not really
decent, but there is at least a Lina that can deal with it. Even if it's a support, it's a really good matchup. It's actually one of my favorite position 4s to play against Undying.
He places that Tombstone and that decay. Look at that damage, Cinderman. They're going to turn it onto Snorpy as well. So finally, a couple kills.
They go
in favor of MOTACI.
They definitely got caught off guard by Undying leveling to level 4 there. As soon as he was 4, drops the Tombstone. They have to turn and kill it because they're low, and Drow just slows them too much. So yeah, nicely done. And this is very good news for them. In my opinion, this is not a Radiant favorite lane. I love playing Lina against Undying. You have the range advantage. You have the Fiery Soul to kill off Tombstone. You have tons of magic damage just laying into them, but MOTACI make it happen there. It's kind of like a double win whenever you win a lane that feels like you should be losing, right? But now it's turning.
Might turn it around a bit here. Flame Break's gonna... Ooh, big soul rip.
Big
Still several stacks of sticky napalm. It looks like the Drow will fall into the tower. There's a TP support coming. Muff, whatever his name is on Undying. Completely out of mana right now. It looks like Sand King takes a tumble in the top lane. So knowing that TP was out, getting very aggressive and paying off.
Yeah, Ember was trying to TP bot there actually and didn't complete it. So he was considering it, but the rotation is very costly, right? Like if you TP Ember bot there and all you get for is a Lina kill or maybe even no kills, it's super bad. So he chooses to stay mid and get the farm. I think it's the right choice. It's what we talked about earlier, right? Like do you rotate? Whoa. What? Yeah, I'm having a stroke here. Do you rotate to bot lane or not?
Okay, it's all that World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
it really rots your brain.
Yeah, I don't have much left.
Totally understand. Bot lane again, more pressure. So they gave up first blood, but they might get a second kill on the Drow if they're not careful. Batrider will die under the tower though.
Oh, Snorpy's dead. Oh, this is so...
barely lives through this engagement. And yeah, they're gonna get that second kill on the Lina and more kills in the top lane. It looks like as the Sand King dies a second time. So at least getting some sort of a trade across the map, but
this bottom lane, it is not going the way the Lina wanted to. I think they're underestimating the overall healing power. They were trying to dive the Drow there when she had 20 stick charges. There was an Undying with level 3 Soul Rip. You got to go about it in a little bit of a smarter way, like get a couple more sticky napalm charges perhaps, and if she backs off, then okay, then your Batrider's free farming. Or try to strike when there's less creeps in the vicinity, right? So the Soul Rip is a lot weaker. I do think we're going to see a kill on Muff here if they don't miss this Link Sun. It connects. That's good.
LSA has been pretty on point for Snorpy this game. They do take out the late game Chad that is otherwise known as Undying. Very level 6, showing some prowess here in the bot lane. Actually gets the multi-shot off, dealing a considerable amount of damage, and actually TP support.
This is a good Ember TP.
On the way, Ember Spirit with a double remnant, triple remnant maybe. 2 kills right off the bat. And the Phoenix is just going to watch himself die as more reinforcements arrive. A triple kill for your Ember Spirit. If you look at the CS, was getting dominated in mid.
This
so that makes up for that quite a bit.
Absolute travesty, man, for the Dire. Oh boy, this it's ugly. You hate to see it. That Ember rotation, that is such an easy call to make. There's 3 heroes diving next to the tower. You have an Ember with full mana that can just TP in and clean them up. And I don't even know if they were going to get the kill to begin with. What they tried to do was flame break into LSA. That's a really difficult to coordinate play. There's so many things that can go wrong. Drow sidesteps a bit, missed the angle.
Sidestepping. Venomancer did sidestep that pounce as well. But yeah, Ember Spirit was quite behind in terms of CS, but look at the net worth with those couple kills in that bot lane, has taken the lead over a Magnus who is known for basically flash farming in the jungle with this Empower.
Yeah.
Ever since they made that change to make it ridiculous on himself. True, he does have the level advantage. But top lane, Oro Strike onto Slark, who's going to Dark Pack that off. Tip Tech with the ultimate. Looks like the ultimate from the Slark will come out as well, but Phoenix is here. No egg, still level 5, but the Fire Spirits will do their job. It's a 1-for-1 as the Slark is forced into the trees.
If Phoenix gets that kill...
We're not done, Cinder at the bottom lane! Batrider gets the last one off, but dies immediately, just completely shameful. Ember Spirit jumps in and gets another kill. They cannot kill this... They killed him once. I stand corrected. They can't kill him after that first time. Cinderin.
I think maybe you're going to have to bring Phoenix to this bottom lane if you're going to take these fights and take advantage of it. Like, now Phoenix is level 7, so much, much stronger with the Supernova online, as Senny is now probably going to die top. 10-second cooldown on Sandstorm, already used. Stun.
Oh, yeah.
Go get him.
That is 1 permanent agility for Flensmeister. That's a cool name. I like that. Is that just his last name? I have to look that up later.
Don't think
Flensmeister. We'll do some research after this game, guys. It's gonna be very, although this is a best of 1, so it will not have any relevance in the next series, but we'll do it anyway. First loser of this, I don't believe is eliminated. We should mention that. They'll have 1 more chance to stay into this GSL format for the elimination bracket, I guess you can call it. Shot in the bot lane, forcing Batrider out. So still going for, like, this is my question about Batrider. Typically you see this hero kind of dominate the lane, then go into the jungle and just, again, flash farm, similar to like a Magnus, but maybe even on crack, like you'd like to say, Cinderin. if you're off to a rough start like this, do you still want to go for the boots of travel, which he has queued up, or do you go for smaller items maybe?
It's kind of tough to decide. I think a lot of the time when your start is this bad, because if it's somewhat bad, getting travels can kind of catch you up in the game. You start pushing side lanes, you get the possibility to get catches you couldn't otherwise. But at the same time, like, it's hard as Batrider to run in on this kind of side again here. Okay, RP.
Oh, yeah. RP only onto 1. Looks like the Batrider is going to go down to that last sleight of fist. Phoenix Egg, we see the buff coming into play, but no, it's not going to be enough. It will be taken out. Undying is the only one to die thus far, but Drow getting chased by Flensmeister. Doesn't have pounce for a few seconds, but the Dark Pact and the right clicks are more than enough. So it's a 2 for 2 across the board. A much needed kill on a Drow Ranger, but it's not over yet. Tip Tech with that Poison Nova. It looks like Snorpy's going to take a tumble. LSA completely misses there. Not sure it really matters in the end. Flensmeister and Baladja will be forced back underneath their tier 1 tower.
Yeah. He went for Dagger first on Mag over Echo Saber. That's
Ooh, yeah, that's interesting.
I thought he was actually going to keep trying to ramp up, but maybe the idea is, okay, we're struggling, we need to find a way to find fights and come back. And if that's the logic, I like it, because, you know, his bottom lane is just flat out doing terribly this game. And maybe this way he can recover a little bit. But yeah, for Bat, I would like to see either travels or something like, it might sound weird, but like Drum's Pipe, just going auras and trying to enable his team. Because if you do get these travels and your next item is a dagger, you still have the same problem where, yeah, you can get a pick, but that's all you can do. It's really hard to get in against Venomancer. They have an instant stun in Sand King, they have Gust and Slight Chains, and all of these things will kill you. You have no survivability. 4 armor, 1200 health. It's a mega weak hero right now if it doesn't get the initiative. Or, you know, a very well set up fight. But as far as his team goes, the only setup he really has is this Mag Dagger. And Mag would love to save that one for a good RP. So it still looks like it will be the travels, and I'm okay with it. But yeah, that was the other option that I could see. Is Oro.
I have a question for you. So I think we've had this conversation before, but you know me, every time like I lay my head down to bed, I forget everything. So it's like a goldfish memory type situation, okay?
Yeah. And goldfish IQ.
The mango tree for Evil Corp was placed next to the tier 1 tower. I'm trying to understand, it was immediately just taken down by Ember Spirit. Why would you ever put it? Feels like this too risky. You don't really get much value. Like, I understand the vision aspect to it, but it feels like 9 times out of 10, maybe even more, it's just better to have it in your base, just as free regen for later.
Yeah, it's one of the two. I think most teams at this point try to put it in base just for, like you say, free mangoes all game. But in some situations, some key vision can be really good. But yeah, if it gets immediately removed by Ember, right, it's just bad. It's just a mistake, unless you really needed those mangoes.
Like Venomancer is going to go down. It did expend both RP and the Phoenix ult. But when you're behind, it's plays like this that need to happen. But having said that, this means the tier 1 tower will probably go undefended now.
Yeah, and they had to deny their bot tower, so this kill isn't even that good. You kill the position 3, but you're losing 2 towers. Opens up the map way too much here for MOTACI to start playing aggressive. This is what you don't want as Magnus. Like, losing mid tower and offlane tower is so bad because now the triangle is not safe anymore to nearly the same extent it was before. And Magnus and Slark want to use this triangle every minute to maximize. So their ancients are compromised, and that's definitely bad news for Evil Corp.
Poor Evil Corp. Mombos. I think he's going to try to find this Lina, and he will with the help of the Burrow Strike as well, and that's going to be an easy one. Flensmeister comes in, pops the Dark Pact. I think they're taking out the Undying with pretty relative ease. It's a 1-for-1 now, but Flensmeister's going to be taken out. Magnus with the skewer a little bit too late. Kaoli going to help end up getting this kill on the Ember Spirit, though, so if they can get out of dodge, this would be perfect, but with that Gale, not even remotely close. It's just way too slow, so a 3-for-2 as Phoenix should live through the day.
Batrider getting some pretty big catch-up during this, though. Just playing an empty bottom lane for the last minute. He's pushing the tower, missing every CS that happens. Now he's going to push the wave. And maybe pull it to small camp to maximize here. Yep, good. Take this whole triangle. And he forced a rotation from Sand King, so that's good. Like, now Now the moves for MOTACI are a little bit slowed down. Sand King is stuck down here defending. I still think it's a good TP. He has to do it, but that's the reward you reap for pushing a side lane as Bat here, is effectively he is freeing up his Slark to farm by pushing bottom. Because with Sand King TPing, top is infinitely safer. It's the primary catch that Slark is scared of. And you'll probably see Flensmeister likely go for an extra top wave now, because he should feel pretty confident. And they are backing off from their triangle. This is again that price you pay for losing the towers. And I like this a lot from MOTACI. Getting this area is the best play on the map they have right now. Oh boy, Bat Rider.
The Ember Spear, or the Bat Rider gets initiated on the RP's a little bit too late. Will he be able to take out the Ember Spear? It doesn't look like he's just going to Remnant away. Looks like the Phoenix dropped the ult, but already 2 lost for EC. That means they're going to have to fall back as big ultimates have been expended again and to little avail. The Bat Rider has not been able to use Lasso for quite a while. Obviously got initiated on there. And it's going to be a free tier 2.
Yep. And with RP on cooldown, maybe they can look for some collateral. Bottom tier 2, maybe poke at Roche. I don't think their lineup kills Roche right now, though. But...
Yep, that's true. I mean, Drow typically very good at killing Roche with a bunch of ranged heroes and somebody to tank it up, but it's only Venomancer. Not too hot in that department. The Phoenix, this is interesting. The Phoenix obviously has the Veil of Discord. What do you think of Ag's second item on him?
I think it's really good in a game like this where the enemy team can't really kill the egg very easily. Now it can act as a full-on restore on a hero like Bat Rider or Mag. People usually focus on the aspect of the save, right? But the cooldown refresh is really good for certain heroes too. Let's say you're playing with something like Bat Rider, right? And you take them into the egg and they survive. You get a new Firefly. On Magnus, you get a new Skewer. Not as good as the Firefly, but yeah, it's like an added benefit to. He's primarily looking for the save, of course, but it's still very, very solid.
Yeah, it's one of those really high skill cap.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not only high skill cap, but it feels like it's one of those.
There. Stumbling over your words.
The agent in this game are super powerful, Cinderin. I feel like I don't see many Ag saves. Like it feels very few and far between. You know what I mean? Even though on paper it is incredible, and if it works, it's really good.
Yeah.
But in execution, it just feels like it's very seldom. In actuality.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he ends up getting it.
I do think in this game it's relatively easy to execute. If Drow is accounted for, I just don't think there's enough attack speed on the Radiant to really kill that egg when it gets level 3. Even level 2, it's already going to be a problem, right? 8 hits. Who's going to do those 8 hits? Sure ain't going to be Undying. Sand King's terrible. Ember's pretty bad. Veno's okay because of Drow Aura, but it still feels very safe to me. They have so much protection for it. Flame Break, Lina Stun, RP Skewer. They'll get it off.
Ember showing in the mid lane, and the rest of the team is smoked. Sand King's going to be revealed, and that means you can Burrow Strike the Magnus, who gets gusted right after and is dead. Still working on the BKB as his third item. I mean, his farm was going like you said. He went the Blink Dagger to try to make up for the rest of the deficiencies on his team, which you would also call teammates in some worlds. But it didn't really slow him down. It feels like he ended up getting Echo Saber, and he was top of the network for quite a while. Has slipped a little bit now that the Ember Spirit has a Maelstrom. But that kill is going to open up the Roshan.
Yep. It's a big one. I think if Evil Corp realize this is happening, they can actually easily defend this Roche. And I think it's a mistake not to do it. You have Phoenix that can scout it with Fire Spirits. You have Bat Rider that can scout it with Firefly. And yeah, you can get caught and it can be tricky, but just poking them from a distance might have been enough to stop MOTACI from trying this one.
Oh, Searing Chains. That'll do it. Bat Rider's dead. See if he buys that Mithril Hammer. Buy that Mithril Hammer. You can do it. You can do it. He can't. Well, technically, he still can. He only lost 200.
Yeah, but you're right. He should have bought it, right? Now he bought it. Now it just feels bad.
Yes. Some people don't have, including me, I don't have the queued items bound to a button. Do you?
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely value to have.
Not bias.
Just can't find room anywhere, you know? I don't like to do alt clicking.
My quick
It's
buy
too
is on
much.
T.
See, that's my taunt buttons. That's more important.
Yeah, see,
to
that's
me.
the problem here. Okay, here's a... Let's
T
do
is
this.
for taunt.
You get...
Okay?
Okay, let's not make this take too long. You get 5 guesses. What is my hotkey for taunt?
You don't have a hotkey.
I do. It was not a trick question.
Damn it. Period.
No.
Backspace.
No.
Delete.
No.
L.
No.
Apostrophe.
Also not. It's numpad 9.
What if you don't have a numpad? What if you're on LAN and they just don't have a numpad on
Who
their
doesn't have a
on their keyboard?
numpad?
They just came out with new gaming keyboards with no numpads because guess what? When you're a gamer, you don't need a numpad, Cinder.
The
You're
numpad
not doing your
is
taxes.
super useful. It's really nice for when I'm doing my taxes.
No, I agree. I'm not going to talk shit about
I
the
will
numpad.
not buy
I
a
do
keyboard
like
without a numpad, that's for sure. It's way too good.
it. Unless we're sponsored, then that's a different story. We'll definitely take it for free. Batrider pops up Firefly, still working towards a BKB for himself. Still like 800 away from finishing, so they probably just want to wait for both that and the BKB on Magnus to come about, which means this tier 2 tower in the top lane is going to be abandoned. So it's just going to be high ground defense here, which, to be fair, they do have a pretty good high ground defense team if they can land these ults.
They do. A lot of it comes down to... Drow is one of those heroes where if you get repositioned, the hero is just super fragile, right? So pushing high ground, you're always going to be scared of that blink skewer. They don't have any instant save, so Mag is pretty safe to do it. Like Sand King needs to be very quick to react, or Ember. You need to kind of spam click pre-Yule on the Drow, for example. But as soon as this BKB comes out on Mag, even that is not a possibility, and Drow is actually just free pickings every time she gets skewered. They're going to have to deal with that on MOTACI's side with how they siege. And the problem is nobody else can really do it than Drow.
Bombos is invisible. If he can get this kill on Batrider, it would set him back quite a bit. He's 300 away from finishing the BKB. More than that, actually 400, but he's going to go into the trees. And if he had spent that money, he would have 200 extra gold, Cinderin.
Yeah, he would almost have his BKB.
Yeah.
Assuming that he had enough reliable gold there.
We're just assuming the best.
He did.
Yes.
The passive gold is reliable. So
when we start talking about reliable and unreliable, and considering they've changed it again recently, I turn my brain off. Just assume everything is unreliable, except for when it needs to be reliable.
Some might argue it's off.
You know what I mean?
Constantly.
Cinderin.
Yeah.
Please. I'm trying to be professional here.
You're trying to process what I just said.
Flensmeister, I don't have time to... It's 4:41 in the morning. Do you think I'm listening to a word?
I'm hoping.
Give me a break, Cinder. Okay? I hear you say a couple of words and I decipher what the sentence is. That's where we're at right now. That's actually, we've grown a lot because back in the day when we cast, neither of us would listen to each other at all.
Yeah.
So if I'm listening to a couple of words and you listen to a couple of mine, we've made huge strides in our relationship as a casting duo. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, great work.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, okay.
So Drow Ranger going to be attacking this tier 3 tower mid. Still working on the BKB is the Batrider. He does have enough though, so he can TP back anytime he wants. Tower's already down to half HP, basically being soloed by Drow at the moment. Still with that Aegis intact, of course. So the last thing you want to do is overcommit. Unless you're able to get multiple heroes in like an RP, even with that Aegis, you'll take that any day of the week.
This is a straight blink skewer. If Drow goes and hits the tower, I don't see any reason Mag shouldn't do it unless he's scared of the instant Yule. But Ember is showing top, and I don't know if they know where Sand King is, but you definitely want to get this Drow into the base now. Oh, he blinked top to defend. Now they can hit mid.
Man, Batrider really making up for lost time. It's like, I'm so sorry I fed. Please give me 10 minutes in the jungle. Please. As the Aegis is now gone, this would be an amazing time to initiate. Not sure if they had that timed out. Looks like MOTACI was taken off guard here a bit by that.
This is a pretty good opportunity for Evil Corp. There's no Tombstone. There's no Aegis.
There's no Wraithband either.
And they have
I don't
two
think he
fresh
realized his Aegis is
BKBs on
gone
Bata
yet.
and Slark. Their lineup actually got so much stronger. The Radiant lineup struggles to kill people in BKB. They only have Drow. Ember's damage is largely magical at this time in the game. So, yeah, I could honestly easily see the Dire be almost even favored in a team fight right now if they get the initiation, even though they're 9k behind. The value of their items is really good right now. But if they don't do anything with it and just chill, then they bought 2 BKBs for relatively little. Like, this is a timing you want to take initiative with.
Tell me about, you mentioned this, but the Slark build, he has BKB drums, and he's going for Manta. I mean, obviously, not saying Manta's not good this game. It's very good, but does this feel good to go on Slark? It feels like very defensive for the most part.
It does, but he has some power, which helps.
That's true. Oh, Drow Ranger, they're going to find him. Will they be able to pounce? They do. It does connect. The RP to follow. They really want this Drow, and they'll get him with Laguna Bay, but they used absolutely everything on just one hero. Snorping the maintain, taking damage on the sidelines. BKB's popped galore. Don't think there's been a buyback, but Drow does have it available. Not able to get back in time, though. It's a 2-for-1 right now. Sand King drops to his death. Looks like Undying, who's outlived his usefulness, will be next. So it's a 3-for-1 in favor of Evil Corp.
Yep.
That extra time farming in the jungle seemed to have paid off quite a bit.
Yeah, they got their BKBs. They went for play, and it worked because they caught the Drow, and the Radiant can't really save this Drow right now. The best thing they have is a Force Staff on their Venomancer to try to push her away if she gets RP'd, and that's all. But she was facing the enemy team, so couldn't do that either. She should be okay.
Oh, Change is there. Flame Break to follow. Senhi with the Burrow Strike, not quite in range yet, and they're not going to dive any further. It looks like a Slark has come to play. Pounce will connect on the Sand King, but he's going to be able to Burrow Strike out. Shadow Dance applied, and that means the exit for Motachi now, as actually reinforcements from both sides have arrived. Remember, some big ults are down for EC, as Burrow Strike is missed. Here comes the Yules into the multi-shot, into the Searing Chains. They're going to have to give up this kill, as Batrider will die. Does have buyback. But Motachi does have a window, right? Even if this game was even, this would be a great time to go with these ults still down.
Yeah.
In theory.
I think so. Once again, if Drow goes and hits mid, try to blink Skewer her in. Get Slark in position, get a Lina stun.
Tombstone is placed. Shockwave is there as well. Egg is up in 8 seconds. Can this Phoenix live? This will be a big kill if they're able to take him out. Very slow right now. That last right click with the Hurricane fight from the Drow is enough to take him out. Buyback galore from both the Batrider and Phoenix. EC needs to get good value here from these buybacks, so this is going to be a huge waste. RP's not up for another 10 seconds. Lasso is available, though. Going to extend it onto the Drow Ranger, it looks like. Nope. They're just going to kill him the old-fashioned way. The lasso is placed onto the Venomancer, who the BKB Flensmeister is going to continue to right-click, pounce up as well, just gaining agility left, right, and center. Moof is here for moral support because that's all you can do as an Undying at the 28-minute mark. You're going to have to watch his Ember Spirit die, but the BKB is there. 3-for-1 after the buybacks. So EC does get good value. Not sure how the net worth will look in terms of the plus-minus after that.
It's about even, I think. At least the heroes you bought back were position 3 and 5, so it's not the big boys you had to expend on, but buyback's still buyback. There's no good ground to gain here. You can't get bounty runes. They spawn in 1 minute. Roshan is currently dead, so there's no, like... You can push out waves, and that's your reward here, and it doesn't feel that great to use 2 buybacks for that. I think this fight kind of highlighted how important it is for the Dire to be quick. I think the moment they were set up mid on MOTACI with both Tombstone and Venom wards, Magnus's job gets so much harder. If he's quick there and just snaps on the button and immediately gets somebody when they start hitting high ground, this could have been very different and they could have not needed to use buybacks, but instead they felt a bit forced to start defending with Phoenix. He gets killed, and it gets a bit messy. But still good farming space. I would say it's a net win for Evil Corp overall.
I don't dislike the Ag's idea behind Phoenix. I just feel like wouldn't a Lotus Orb just feel incredible right now? I feel like he's gotten killed a couple times from getting gusted. Once you get gusted as a Phoenix, you are just useless.
It's a really good item against Sand King too. Against Ember, of course, removing chains for his teammates. I still don't mind it though. I do think this is one of the better Aghanims games, so I don't think the read is bad that you pick that up here. But obviously, you're always going to be comparing it to another like reliable save item or whatever. Oh, this could be a big kill.
Yeah, lasso into the LSA, into the Laguna Blade, and they do get the kill on the Ember Spirit, who has no buyback to
he even
speak
BKB'd.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the 9-second BKB. Great value.
Yeah, this game is starting to feel more and more Evil Corp for me, to be honest. MOTACI had a big lead. They had a huge win expectancy too, but Magnus is starting to kick in. Stark is getting big. He's getting more and more stacks. The Batrider, who had a terrible start, is starting to become very useful. Roche just spawned. Just layer it on. Give them everything.
And they have basically, I mean, they have all their team fight ultimates. They don't have the Lasso or Laguna Blade up at the moment.
Radiant can't win this fight without Ember. There is absolutely no way they should try this, and they're not going to.
So Aegis and Cheese will go the way of EC unless a crazy steal from a Venomancer comes into play, but being so close to a Sheepstick for him, I don't think you want to risk it. They're actually posturing as if they want to contest, but I think you're right. Oh, he's Sand King. Epicenter, Burrow Strike in! The Roshan will go down, but the Slark gets the Aegis. Phoenix ult on the sideline. Laguna Blade expended onto the Sand King. They will likely find him with one more wave, and they do. Looks like an RP onto 3! Ember Spirit still dead. This was a huge mistake from MOTACI. Holy jeez, I'm not sure who got the cheese, but EC, everything going their way now.
I'm okay with Sand King trying to be cute and get it. But everybody else committing for this fight in a 4v5 without your key hero in the Ember Spirit, I think it's just a flat-out major blunder. And they actually got nothing. The kill went to Dire, the Aegis went to Dire, they lost 4 heroes, and EC are just going to capitalize by pushing down mid. This is just straight-up game losing. This moment was huge. And Evil Corp, they might even get a tier 3 tower on top of it all and equalize the game in terms of gold. And for me, that's a big lead for their team now. They have Aegis and Cheese, same gold, and momentum is locked with permanent stacks. It's just all adding up.
Batrider was looking for a potential initiation, but they're going to give up at least the melee racks. See if they want to stick around. No, they are on the run now. Ember Spirit going to try to catch up to somebody. He's going to get Yules. Lina might just sacrifice herself, which is perfectly fine. And they get away with murder. What a huge turnaround. It was an 8k lead around that time, I believe, and now it's dead even. But with the racks down, I'd say that EC definitely are favored now.
It's insanely hard to fight a 4v5 at Roche against 2 flying heroes. Like, the terrain advantage for the team with flying heroes is so massive, right? Like, you put a ward, Batrider just flies across the cliff, has BKB. He started the fight, I think he just lassoed the Drow or something, and just basically zoned 3 heroes for like 10 seconds while they killed Sand King and got the Aegis. And then they connected with him afterwards. You're fighting against a Phoenix that can supernova there, that can fly across and get you all in your jungle. And then a Mag with Blink. Like, your odds there are just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But anything can happen in a game of Dota, Cinderin. One hero caught without buyback.
Yeah. By no means is the game over, but it has been swung in a big way in the favor of Evil Corp now.
Slark picked up a Paladin sword and finished his Scotty, so he's looking real good.
Ember.
As there's the lasso initiation. Ember, LSA to follow. Laguna! Not enough to take him out. He pops the BKB. Looks like the Magnus wants to continue to chase. This is hit the extension here. He's gonna pop the BKB himself into the skewer. He's gonna RP nothing. Wait, the RP beyond dying. That's basically nothing. We've already talked about this, Cinderin. He will die, but the epicenter to come in. BKB popped by the Slark. He's gonna pop his ult in addition, applying a little pressure to Drow. But EC, this has not been a very good fight. He's gonna get sheep now. A sheeped Slark shall live. Pops the Manta style. Looks like Magnus will attempt to sacrifice himself, but does go invisible. Yeah, with no detection. That was extremely sloppy. I mean, that's how you potentially throw a game, just trying to chase.
Yeah, I really like the Ember catch. They messed up a little bit in the, or actually didn't mess up. They got surprised rather. Veno showing up with the Hex there was super clutch. He got the Hex on the Slark after he Dark Pacted, and that basically single-handedly kept the Ember alive to get out. But then when you start diving like that and you RP only on Undying, getting out with a 1-for-0 is actually a great outcome for the Dire. That could have been real bad.
I don't want to min-max here, okay? Ember Spirit was 1, maybe 2 attacks from dying. They did not layer their stun, the LSA.
That's 100%. That's correct.
Right.
He might have died.
It was a little bit off, like half a second to a second off. So
I mean, I don't know why you don't want to min-max. It's really important. Using your stuns correctly is a big part.
I'm saying I don't want to min-max. Commentary. Or backseat maybe is the better way.
I think it's a great point, though. But it's not surprising to me that when you finally have a great point, you don't want to stick by it. So that's fine.
I don't want to have good points, Cinderin. All right, BKB popped by the Drow Ranger, or the Bat Rider, who pops the Blade Mail in addition. The Drow Ranger is now on the run, but continuing to get chased here. He's going to pop his BKB now and apply all the pressure to that Bat Rider. He's now on the high ground. And remember, the Magnus still does not have RP. They don't have any of these big ultimates. This fight is very, very sloppy. BKB popped by Flensmeister. It looks like Drow is taking most of this damage. Beautiful pounce, and that's going to be enough to take him out. No buyback to speak of. The Ember Spirit getting extremely low, but will live on the sideline. Looks like the Phoenix is going to try to finish him off right now. Burrow Strike onto 2, into a big epicenter potentially. That is a lot of damage coming through. As Slark's Aegis has been expended, and the Sand King will follow suit.
Great Sunray.
So an absolute bloodbath.
It was a very good
Ember
Sunray.
Spirit did live, though.
Yeah. He did, but this is a Slark now with 28 activists and shift stacks. He should just go and hit bot tower. And maybe even hit bottom racks if he can get through the tier 3 in 30 seconds. He has made his way down there. Yeah, I agree. This is a very chaotic fight, and the big decider that makes it even for MOTACI is that RP was not ready. They chose to fight without their biggest, in many ways, biggest spell because it's the BKB piercing stun they have, together with Lasso. But even then, EC still come out on top in this exchange. And he will indeed be hitting bottom. He's plenty of time. Level 25, these Essence Shift stacks last for an eternity. Forcing Glyph. Really don't think he needs to back here whatsoever, but playing it very safe. He has Manta, BKB, ulti, and TP against 3 heroes that already get countered by the Manta alone. Yeah, but he's gonna chill. Take the outpost.
Now, the Phoenix did finish the Ags, by the way. We did see the egg. It was kind of on the outskirts.
It was a solo egg.
Yeah, I don't think he ate anybody up with it. He didn't include anyone inside the egg with him. It'd be great if they had like special voice lines for every single hero. That'd be like the most useless voice lines. Pudge is inside and he's like, "What am I doing in here?" Okay, I can't do a Pudge, Cinderin. You do any heroes? I'm sure you can do somebody, right?
Oh, are you one of the Muppets or something?
I'm here. Yes.
Yeah.
I could do Peon or something like that, I guess.
True. Unfortunately, that's not in the game.
I understand that. Oh, Dark Pact is going to take off the stun from that Burrow Strike. A lot of damage being done, but dispel that sheep as well. Here comes the egg. Lasso incoming as well. The damage is massive, and he's going to stun several heroes. The Drow and Veno have perished, and just like that, it's a 3v5 in favor of Evil Corp, who can just run down mid now.
Yeah.
Or bot.
Cheoli dropped his Supernova, and they started hitting it. That was very surprising to me. Like, we've already talked about this at length. They can't really kill this egg. You have to run away, especially if the other spells are not expended. Like, if you start turning to hit the Supernova, you're setting yourself up to get LS8 and RP'd very easily. And at this point, I think this is just nice and easy bottom racks. There's not much they're going to do about that. The question is, can they get even more? Get mid racks as well?
They did use a repair kit, but that has a 60-second cooldown now, so it's far, far worse than before in terms of base defense. So they will probably finish off this range racks mid. They still need the tier 2 top if they want to go for megas.
At least Ember pushed that lane out, so he's going to delay the third lane potential for Evil Corp. But now that they've taken 2 lanes of racks, they can map control. Roshan respawns in 30 seconds. They obviously don't know this, but they know it will happen relatively soon. So if they cover this area that they're in now with aggressive warding and just hold the high ground, they should be in a great position to get Roche while their other 2 lanes push in and MOTACI have to deal with that constant pressure to give information away.
What do you think of the Spell Prism choice for Slark? Dark Pact, 4.8 second cooldown, 48 second ult.
It's really, really good. It's
Pounce
also 12 all stats. It's a nice item.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it's not good. It's just interesting to see on a Slark. Especially when there's like a Phoenix or a Magnus in the game that has these
alternatives. Illusionist Cape could have been cool as well, of course. Always nice and edgy heroes.
Oh boy, BKB activated on the Bat Rider brings Veno to the high ground, who's just deleted. They were going for Roche. I don't know if they can continue this. So the Tombstone is taken out as well. And it has an Aghanim Scepter residing inside Cinderman.
I think you give that Axe to Slark? Sounds pretty good.
Could do Slark. I would say Batrider, considering he's been consistently getting these lassos off.
Yeah, could be good too. Really like it on Slark this game though.
What is Magnus's Axe? Is that the skewer garbage? Lowers cooldown, cast point, and mana cost. That's, yeah, meh.
It was so insane when it came out. It was maybe the best Axe ever in the game. A candidate for it at least. Yeah. It was so broken. Yeah, they give it to Slark. So 2 pounce charges.
Double pounce. And extreme range.
Yeah, it's
they did slightly nerf, but it used to be 1200. Now it's 1100. Keep that in mind. I find it really difficult to hit from long range, like super difficult.
Yeah.
But remember it's always fun to see people
we talked about earlier with Undying?
Being useless?
No,
yeah.
The reason you find it difficult to hit.
I'm sorry, what?
In the beginning of the game, we were talking about why you find Undying's ultimate bad, and I'm saying it's the same reason you're finding Slark's pounce difficult to hit.
Because I'm bad.
Good, there it is. The realization, that's the first step, is realizing you have a problem.
Who says I've realized? Just answered what I think you think is the answer to that question.
You sounded like
denial is the
you
first
sounded
step.
like you meant it.
Acceptance is last. I don't know if you've ever taken these classes before that talk about.
You do sound like an expert. Actually, I'll trust you.
Magnus pops. Actually, that wasn't the BKB. That was his Minotaur horn.
Oh boy, that's a dead Sand King.
Yeah, Sand King's BKB has expended, and Slark is going to take some more agi stacks for himself. He has 18 permanent agility right now, and 13 extra that will last for a considerable amount of time, like you said, because of the 25 talent.
39 extra. Always got to multiply it by 3.
Thank you, Cinderin.
You're welcome.
You actually do that?
You can mouse over it if you don't want to do the math.
He has 18 stacks of agility.
Yeah, he has 18 permanent and then plus 39. If you read this in the game and you're like, that's 13, you're in for a bad time when a Slark shows up with 40 stacks and you're like, it's just 40 agility. It's 120. Right. You die.
Yeah.
Gotta give the man some respect with all of these stacks.
I don't think it's a man, and I'm pretty sure he's quite creepy, so we shouldn't be giving him much attention. I think he's a creeper on Naga Siren, if I'm not mistaken, on lore, Cinderin. Could have made that up, but I've seen a lot of cartoons to suggest otherwise. There's the repair kit onto the tier 3 top. Sand King does have buyback and epicenter still up as well, so they do have a defense available to them. At what point do you buy back? That's 20 seconds, fortifications there. Aegis, of course, still intact onto the Slark. Is the Magnus the one with the cheese? Yes. He has an Assault Cuirass as well. Batrider pretty much has all the items he needs now. The Blink, 4-staff BKB. Even the Blade Mail is a luxury.
Wait, why are they backing?
I thought they were just going to refresh the HP on Slark.
Oh, they actually do have to solve their mid-wave here with Lina. But... okay, fair enough. This is something, I actually didn't notice that this happened at this time, but when you're leading like this, you need to make sure the mid-wave is always pushed out, right? Like, whether there's Rex fallen here or not, the dominating team here wants to push that lane constantly so that they can safely hold this high ground that they've nicely warded now. And now that that's taken care of, Lina can regroup with the team.
This will do just fine.
Phoenix will push out top. And now you have a chokehold, basically. Now the Radiant have nowhere to go except bottom lane, where they could try to push out, or they have to take an aggressive move. It's the chance that they're able to push out either mid or top lane more than the Dire from this position is almost non-existent if Dire play it correctly. So smoking around, backstabbing, or pushing out bot for some sort of response are the 2 primary options they have.
Slark, he's going to dispel that stun immediately, and that is the last repair kit charge. That's going to be a little bit annoying to get through. Slark's just going to back up for the time being to refresh a little bit here. Does have 6,000 gold and is going for Abyssal. Sure. Can't really replace any items other than the Aegis, so better off to just wait, I suppose.
I suppose maybe you could replace the treads when you have Aghanims.
Yeah, that's true.
Might not
Got a lot of
matter that
mobility.
much. I mean, the attack speed is really good on him, of course, but I think all the other items are more important. Alternatively, you swap out your BKB for Abyssal, and then when your Aegis pops, you swap in BKB. You just commit to only having BKB on second life, which a lot of the time is great. A few occasions it sucks because the first death, the BKB would have just been amazing to win a fight. And then you come back and maybe some of your teammates have died or your positioning is bad. But in this position, I think I would swap out BKB for Abyssal when you're this dominant on the map
How
control.
long for Aegis? Can't be up that much longer.
There it goes.
Yeah, it is now gone. And he just realized that, so put his drums back in if he wants, or just taunt the enemy by not putting anything there. It's also an option. Take out the tier 3 with ease. It's just going to be this slow, methodical push. They don't want to take any chances. I mean, it is a best of one. And it is a really important game, so understandable that you're taking this very carefully. He does buy the Basher, and he actually does not have buyback as he's buying this Abyssal Blade. Okay.
He still doesn't have buyback.
Still does not.
I think you should just buy it. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Right. He is very strong, but if they kill him, that is technically an opening without that buyback.
Technically, yeah,
of course,
but
he
I think
could just
all of his
strangle the map.
teammates have buyback. So that means like you're not going to end this game off a Slark kill unless the absolute disaster strikes for Dire. If nobody had buyback, that would be a very different story. But they're pretty well covered here.
Bounty, which my matriarch will prize.
Actually, the Phoenix is 50 gold off buyback. He'll get it in a sec.
I think they're all just going to wait for 5 buybacks at this point. There's
Phoenix
with
level
the Aegis
25.
gone, no reason. Lena, by the way, did purchase an Aghanim Scepter for herself, so if there's another Roshan, Cinderin, we're going to see the Batrider Ags, no doubt.
The Supernova hit count is just so absurd,
It's a
man.
good one. Supernova.
16.
Oh yeah, what is it at now? Good luck. Yeah.
Yes.
He nerfed
+3 from
level
Axe,
3, right?
+3 from Axe and +3 from the talent. In the old patch, this would have been 17, I think.
Yeah, I think they got rid of 1.
Who is ever
like
going to
jumping
get
in
16
top
hits
of
on this egg?
Nobody on that lineup, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Undying could sell all his items and just go moon shards. He could. I mean, if he's not doing
he could buy
anything,
one.
you know, just go for the egg. One, just one moon shard. No. I like the multiple moon shards personally.
Yeah, he just can't afford it. He only has the gold for one if he sells his items.
That's a good point.
I don't think anybody in the
farm
world
priority
hates
to
Undying
Undying.
more than you, by the way. Just wanted to throw it out there.
I don't really hate him that much. I mean, okay, here's the thing. Like, I hate Lion. That is a hero I actually hate. I take pride. Like, every time I beat a Lion, it feels just so sweet to me. For Undying, I just literally forget he's in the game. And it's been literally 15 years now that I forget that Undying is in my game. So it's time for change. It's time for Undying to be relevant again, past the laning stage.
You're underselling this hero. Oh, Lena stun?
Had a great start.
That was a really
Yeah,
good LSA. If they
LSA.
had anybody in range there, that could have been dangerous. But Mag was out in the jungle, and Batrider was out in the other jungle. So, but they're still
We have-
maximizing. They're just building their gold lead. They're out farming the Radiant by like, I don't know what it is now, about 1,000 GPM at this current point in time. They're going to get Roche again. They'll get the bounty runes at 50 minutes. This is why, like, if you're the losing team here and you're sitting in base, what are you really playing for right now?
Playing for the Undying buyback. He's the only one in the game without one. Syndrin. 30 gold away.
They will smoke now. It's too late. I think. Oh, could be close.
This is going to be
they're not even
Ags.
going.
This is going to be Refresher Shard, and of course the usual Aegis and Cheese. Is Magnus actually going to take this Ags?
Yep.
Oh my god, he actually took it. How would you not give this to Batrider, honestly? Okay. Magnus does have extra mobility now. I mean, don't get me wrong, the skewer Ags isn't atrocious. I mean, it's nothing you would ever buy anymore.
6-second cooldown.
The value of getting 2 lassos, especially when you have RP in the game, is initiation in the bot lane. BKB is going to be forced onto the Ember. But when you have like these big time ultimates, getting a double lasso is not going to be that difficult, especially with all the mobility you have. So a little bit surprised there. Took the okay, so Magnus also has a refresher shard. It's in his stash right now.
Probably swap that in for a Reaver.
Here we go. The goal is mega creeps. There was a Yules into the Gust. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Mark still holding on to his manta. Actually uses the Abyssal Blade. I'm not sure what he used that on. Oh, it's the Lincoln.
Breaking the Lincolns of Ember so they can try to lasso. But didn't coordinate it fully.
Oh, there it is. Initiation onto the Undying. And he's just going to be dead. He does have buyback, though, as we talked about. Everybody in the game has buyback. This is going to be another slow siege, potentially. Phoenix will just continue to stay on the backside here, healing his teammates up. Looking for a big RP. Oh, big one onto absolutely nothing. And it wasn't Undying this time. Completely whiffed it. But there's the egg. It saves the Magnus. He's going to come back with all of his abilities minus the ultimate. Of course, he has a refresher shard on top of that. And there's the right clicks onto the Ember Spirit. The Slark getting really low as well. Pops the ult at the last moment. Gets Burrow struck, but there's the heal from Phoenix. Buyback onto the Ember Spirit immediately as they try to defend their base. Melee Rax taking a heavy beating. Slark barely gets out with his life. There's the Burrow Strike extended past the base now. Onto the Lina. The Sheep onto the Magnus as well. Poison Nova to follow. Then Snares as well. There's the Laguna Blade. Sandking getting extremely low. RP onto one. But a beautiful Gust to follow. And they're going to be able to take out this Magnus very easily. As Sandking force staffs to safety. Buybacks galore. Blade Mail onto the Bat Rider is in the opposing base right now. Looking for a lasso with all his might. Will not find it. Death comes to him. Does have buyback as well, as this game will continue to... We're going to see the 60-minute items, Cinderin. I can't wait.
That was not a good fight for Mr. Magnus. That was tough. He averaged 0.5 heroes per RP in that fight. And that ended up costing them a lot, actually, because not only did they lose the fight when they had Aegis Cheese, Refresher, and 2 Ags advantage, they also spent 2 buybacks, and the Radiant spent none, I think. No, they spent Ember, right? Yeah, Ember. Yep, I think. So, 2 for 1 buyback. Ember when you're this far ahead on net worth, these kills are actually starting to be pretty rewarding for the Radiant.
It was 2 for 2. Don't forget about Undying, Cinder. I talked all that shit, and you defended Undying.
Oh, true, he did buyback.
He did buyback. He is a hero, believe it or not, in this game.
Now he's level 21. He has Tombstone on Death.
Okay.
So his death is way more valuable now.
I mean, it is a good talent.
It is really good.
Tombstone is good.
It is really good.
Like, if you get to 25, do you take Reincarnation?
Yeah.
And does that stack with the death on Tombstone?
Yeah.
Does it happen twice?
Yes.
Ah, okay. That's really good.
It's really good. But
I
yeah,
mean, I honestly think
it's pretty rare you get there with Undying. But when you do get 25, it's awesome.
It's a glorious sight to behold. I think that first of all, we've talked about this so much, not only this cast, but throughout the history of our relationship, the Undying Ultimate, and how it's basically changed a million times, but kind of has been the same. It's amplified damage.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that Tombstone would be his ult and just make it more powerful. And then think of just a new skill. Just change things up for this guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Freshen things up for Undying.
How good would Tombstone be as an ulti? What should it do?
Cinder, do you really want to open up this can of worms right now?
No.
I can talk about stuff for hours.
I know.
I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
No.
All right, Sandking able to get out of dodge here. He has all the mobility spells that he needs as well. Blink, a 4-staff BKB, and Yules, so extremely fast. Spark. We're only 5 minutes away from 60-minute items. They don't have buyback on Magnus, so I feel like Evil Corp, again, it's Magnus versus Ember, right? In terms of the buybacks for the core heroes. Which is more important? I would argue, I don't even know, actually. Both are really important.
The situation will always favor the aggressive team, because if they get a kill now, a key kill they could end. Whereas the enemy team is
They find Slark. He's not able to hit his Dark Pact. They're going to kill him. He's dead for 100 seconds. Does have buyback, but now Evil Corp on the run. As Undying is continuing to chase. Trying to remind the enemies that he's in the game. Go ahead.
They just ran the Slark 2,000 range ahead of their entire team into the most dangerous spot on the map the enemy could have visioned with Ob Sentry. They were so far behind,
Yes.
nobody could save him there.
It was questionable, no doubt.
This is a bit bizarre, really. The way I see it, the Slark basically can't die if he has teammates around and he goes in front. Like, they can make the same play with Slark leading a little bit further behind. And Supernova or Skewer or something. Uh-oh. Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, Phoenix. Burrow struck. LSA to
Right,
follow,
egg here.
though, to try to save some time. There's the egg. Are they actually trying to kill it? RP to follow, though. It's going to be on 2. They're going to be able to take out the Ember Spirit very easily. And the Sand King is next. So, again, for some reason, they try to go for this freaking egg and not able to do so. BKB TP by Drow is successful.
It's not even close. Like, you just... The best play call right now is never go for Supernova. I think that's the safest and best play they can make, because every time they try, they set themselves up for failure. If it's like literally the last thing left in the fight, or there's like that plus, I don't know, a Bat Rider who's already used Lasso, then maybe. But they've run into this problem 3 or 4 times this game where they try to hit the Supernova. Like, that wasn't even close. They were like 4 hits out of 16 they needed before they gave up.
I think they just have maybe short-term memory, like me, issues where
it's just
once they
it's just
start
not happening.
attacking,
Like, you're not killing it.
they
Now
have
there's 2 of them.
2 or 3 attacks. They remember finally that they can't kill it.
And this is where Evil Corp should honestly just end the game. They know Ember doesn't have buyback. You have a full minute, 5v4. Sure, you don't have RP. I don't think you need it. You have 2 Supernovas in 40 seconds. If you really need one desperately, you have one now. You are so farmed on every hero.
Yeah, this Phoenix is so fat.
Yeah,
Holy jeez.
we haven't really talked about Lena's items much, but Lena's also decked out. Has BKB Link, BKB, Ags, Yules, Blink, and Lens. It's like core items almost at this point.
With a telescope on top.
Yeah,
Beautiful
insane
stuff.
cast range.
All right, the jump in, the huge lasso onto the illusion. That is a good bait by MOTACI. I mean, they have to give up megas. I think you don't try to defend this top lane. You just sit behind these tier... Well, I was going to say tier 4s, but there's only 1 remaining.
With that
so
lasso
maybe not.
failing, you actually defend, I think.
Okay. Wow.
Because now you're set up with Plague Wards. Your Drow feels a lot safer knowing there's no lasso. There's also no RP for another 12 seconds. So I don't really mind this retreat. I think it's fine in your situation in the game. Now you need to control this area and keep pushing out mid-wave over and over. Get the next Roche and then end the game. 40
The
second
next
respawn
Roche
now.
means... You know what that means, Cinderin? The next one.
What does it mean?
We'll finally see Bat Rider Ags. For some reason, this Magnus took the Ags, and it's really bothered me. Because it's not good. It's the worst on his
You're a
team.
hater.
By far. King, Knight will find the Burrow Strike. BKB there for the Bat Rider. As I am fairly sure every BKB in this game is now 5 seconds. Just going to double
I don't
check
think
because I
Linus
would be
is.
shocked.
Linus is 8.
Ooh, 6 seconds for Sand King. 7 seconds for Drow. Okay, I am beyond shocked. Holy crap. He's had that for so long.
Yeah, he had a couple of fights. I
Ow.
think he died before getting it off. Lina?
Oh, Lincoln's is popped onto the Ember Spirit. Is that an RP coming? Don't think he got it off yet, but there's the egg on the background. Ember Spirit dead again, but the Lina to follow. So it's a 1-for-1. Let's see if they can try to recuperate here, but the Drow Ranger looks to be next. Is this fight a nice initiation from the Sand King, but too little too late it looks like. Drow buys back into the game. Sand King continuing to get chased. Does have Burrow Strike onto the high ground, but they're able to traverse the terrain. But he does have buyback as well. Now, I guess there was an RP. I must have missed it. Cheap stick to follow, though, so no initiation from Mr. Magnus.
This is Undying and Sand
So
King
it's a
buyback.
4v4.
You can now go to Roche. That's being pinged by Phoenix. I think it's the right play.
All right, Bat Rider, it's your time to shine. Okay? Technically, people that have bought Ags could still consume the Ags and sell theirs. But I'm... Please, just give it to Bat Rider. To be fair, the last few lassos... well, that one actually was... It probably would have gotten 2. But a couple of them, like when they're turtled in their base, it would be very difficult for it to actually pay off.
It got buffed too. It increased the search range in 727B from 450 to
There it
550,
is.
and that's actually a pretty big deal.
So now he will, the double lasso essentially. And of course, lasso will, I believe, deals damage over time. Let's see, 60 damage per second. for 4 seconds. That's 240 damage, Cinderin. Not much, but it's something.
Well, it obviously synergizes with sticky napalm, so...
True. Oh, 60 minutes. We missed the counter. Fallen Sky for Slark. I know you don't have a lot of experience with tier 5 items, Cinder, but it brings joy to my heart when I see this moment come. Apex. Oh, God, yes. Delicious items for everybody. Slark is going to take the Apex. Fallen Sky undoubtedly will go to the Magnus.
All right, surely the game ends now. You have Apex. You have Apex.
I'm Motachi. Dude. You need to go into the jungle and get some items immediately. You have Mirror Shield.
Yeah.
That's huge.
How did she get that?
That is huge.
Where did she
I don't
farm
know.
a camp?
I didn't notice.
Ember is getting into the jungle here. He's trying to find items, so that's good.
Okay. Well, that's
he will not... Oh, he got one there. Seer Stone.
Seer Stone. Okay. For their team, I mean, if you put that on Venomancer, his sheep is going to be ridiculous range.
Decent on Sand King.
They have a Mirror Shield on both sides now. Ex Machina on Evil Corpse. That's the refresh of items. I believe that they're all decked out, right? Yeah, they have all 4 and...
This Slark. Just give him 5 seconds in the fight and you'll see magic right now. This is going to be like the 3-star Slark unit in Underlords after it has been hitting for 10 seconds. Yeah, that's a reference you like, I'm sure.
Very good, Cinder. Thank you so much. Bat Rider jumps in. You're seeing the double lasso come into play on the one hero. Just undying. They find out with a big RP on the 2 to skewer out the egg on the side. This looks to be the beginning of the end for Motachi as Curry attempts to run away. The Mirror Shield not helping him here as the buyback onto the Venomancer probably not going to be enough. And there is an egg again with the Sunray coming through as Slark. Look at how fast he is attacking. Good Lord. That is ridiculous. With that Apex, it's extra damage. Aegis is popped. RP again. That was the refresher shard. And finally, game 1 of 1 comes to an end in 62-minute fashion with the tier 5 items. I'm happy, Cinderin. I got to see them. Fun game.